Can you see my presentation now? Okay. Okay, good day everyone. I am Brian James L. Season from the Philippines, and I'm here to present to you my research entitled Shape Transition Experiences of Science Teachers from Linear Curriculum to Spiral Curriculum. In the Philippines in 2013, with the provision of our law, the RA 10533, a new curriculum was implemented, and it was commonly known as the K-12 curriculum. It replaced the basic education curriculum. With that, significant changes were experienced by science teachers in the Philippines. One of those changes is the shifting from the linear curriculum to the spiral curriculum, wherein in the linear curriculum, from 10 years basic education cycle, the years of education shifted to 12 years basic education cycle. And in linear curriculum, we have in the basic education curriculum the 4 years in high school, wherein in spiral curriculum, it was shifted to 6 years in high school. We have the junior high school and the senior high school. And the linear curriculum featured discipline-based approach. On the other hand, spiral curriculum featured spiral progression. And in the linear curriculum, we have the teacher-centered uh, curriculum. On the other hand, in the spiral curriculum, we have the learner-centered curriculum. And this last statement is the very problem of this research, wherein in the linear curriculum, the subjects which were distributed per year level are handled by the specialization major teachers. For example, a biology teachers will teach a biology subject or biology topics. But in spiral curriculum, subjects integrated in every grade level are handled by science teachers regardless of their major of specialization. So in this case, a biology teacher will now teach physical science subjects or chemistry subjects. So you can see in this uh, picture the transition, wherein in this transition period, uh, it affects not just the content of the teachers, but also the technological knowledge and the pedagogical knowledge. So with that, this study aims to describe the experiences of science teachers as to how they transition from linear curriculum to the spiral curriculum. So to gather data, the researchers utilized a descriptive phenomenological qualitative design. So descriptive design is a means to describe the relationship among the variables, how one affects the others. In the case of our research, how the transition period affect the experiences of the science teachers. And for phenomenology, we utilize phenomenological design because a phenomenology is a design which aims to describe the experiences of the informants to fully understand certain phenomena. And this type of design is non-empirical in nature. So meaning we did not apply any statistical treatment to gather our data. Rather, we use interview. It uses answers through interview to describe the phenomenon. Moreover, we also utilize purposive sampling, wherein the informants were chosen based on the following criteria. They must be LPT or licensed professional teachers with 10 years of teaching experience in science. And they must be teaching in junior high school or grade 7 to 10 during the transition period, because in senior high school, the subjects or science subjects were concentrated. And the research locale focused on the private and public high schools, which were founded 10 years or more ago around the Bulacan in the Philippines. This criteria ensures that the informants and the research locale has transitioned from linear curriculum to the spiral curriculum. Also, we utilize these instruments. First, the validated semi-structured interview form with open-ended questions. And we also utilize voice recorder for oral interview and a written interview sheet. The informants may choose from being interviewed orally or in a written format. And this is the process that we utilize. First, we secure the letter of consent and letter of intent, and we distribute those letters among the schools. And we wait for the school's recommendation, and when we are approved to uh, conduct our research in that particular school, we introduce and explain the purpose of the study to our informants. And we also secured informed consent, and we interviewed them, and we allowed them to choose between oral or written interview. And after that, we stopped getting um, data when we met the data saturation, or the informants were able to answer with the same with all the informants, or most of the informants answered same data or same responses, and we analyze it using the collages method, wherein first we familiarize ourselves with the data gathered, and we identify the significant statements, and we formulate meanings from those significant statements, and those statements and meanings were clustered into teams, and these teams were uh, uh, underwent into exhaustive description, wherein we try to connect one theme from the other, and we produce the fundamental structure. And the last method in Kolaichi is we seek verification from our informants. We went back to our informants and asked them if the structure that we have created were the ones that they want to say in those responses that they gave us. Next, so with the data gathered, the study resulted in the emergence of 5 teams, with composing the acronym SHAPE, or S-H-A-P and E. And this teams includes first the struggles to transition, and the struggles to transition were divided into 3. First, we have the content nature of struggles, wherein the teachers experience concept and content disruption, confusion with the concept of curriculum, and exclusivity of knowledge to specialization. As I have mentioned earlier, a biology teacher will teach physical science subjects, so their knowledge is somehow exclusive to biology. So this is the content nature of struggles. Second, we have the pedagogical nature of struggle. First is difficulty in grading system. As the curriculum shifted from linear curriculum, also the grading system shifted. And also difficulty in practicing beyond specialization, most especially in laboratory. Science teachers, for example, a biology teacher has a problem with practicing pedagogy, which is all about physics. Next, difficulty in the level of activities. Also, diversity of learners' capabilities and the limited time offered to teach a particular subject matter. And momentum disruption. And for the technological nature of struggles, we have the advancement of technology. As you may see in the picture a while ago, the blackboard transition from the traditional one, the chalkboard, to a screen of a computer. And availability of materials. The teachers uh, were had a problem with the availability of materials and the effectiveness of traditional materials. Next is the letter H, the help from others. Um, First, they were able to get help from others through their colleagues with peer teaching and coaching. So, for example, a biology teacher asks a physics teacher as to how a certain process or certain topic in physical science should be taught. So, peer teaching and coaching. Next is through the institution or the schools and the Department of Education. So, the schools and the Department of Education provided seminars to train the teachers as to how they can transition from linear curriculum to the spiral curriculum. And next is the help from materials. So the teachers were able to read and understand the curriculum guide, the student guide, and other written materials. And these written guides help them a lot to transition from linear curriculum to the spiral curriculum. And next, the acclimations to transition. So acclimations to transition represents the ways of the science teachers or their ways to themselves to cope up to the transition through different aspects such as the intellectual acclimations or the content acclimations. We have conducting research, lifelong learning and studying, and also using variety of references. Also, they have a moral acclamation. Sometimes they admit to themselves that they don't know a certain concept, or they tell their students that I don't know the concept of, for example, a biology teacher may admit to himself or to his student that he don't know a certain concept in physical science. So moral acclamations to transition. Next is the pedagogical acclamations to transition. We have the teachers were able to adjust their strategy with the students level, and they allow the students to collaborate among themselves, and they also use delaying tactics if they have a problem with a particular concept or they don't know a particular concept such as in physics. They delay the discussion so that they may be able to recall those topics. Next is skipping tactics. If they really don't know what the topic is, they skip the lesson so that the students will not ask them anymore about that particular topic. And using of diverse methods, including the traditional one. So next, the physiopsychological acclimations. This include the conditioning of the body and mind. So the teachers, in times that their pedagogy, their content, their technological knowledge were compromised, they take a deep breath and condition their body and mind that they can do and they can teach a particular concept in science. And lastly, the technological acclimations to transition. It involves the following: adapting to the advancement of technology. Most especially today, teachers were required to teach using a computer, a PowerPoint presentation, a projector. So they adapt to the advancement of technology, and they prepare beforehand. If they don't know how to operate a projector, they prepare those PowerPoint presentations beforehand so that in the uh, teaching period, the errors or the, what do you call that? If they prepare beforehand the materials, there will be the struggles will be lessened during the teaching period or the discussion period. Next is the localization of unavailable materials. As I have mentioned earlier, one of the struggles of the teachers is most of the materials were unavailable. So they were able to localize materials such that instead of using a graduated cylinder, they can use some other materials locally made in their community. And lastly, the utilization of available materials, including the traditional ones, such as the chalkboard and the like. Next is the paradigm about the curriculum. So teachers were also, or science teachers were also able to give us how do they understand the curriculum. First, the definition. They define linear curriculum as commonly known as BEC, or Basic Education Curriculum. So it matched the official definition of linear curriculum. Next is that linear curriculum is concentrated a subject in every year level. Next, linear curriculum is the conventional type of curriculum or the traditional type. Next is that major specialization is evident that allows mastery. So, on the other hand, the definition of spiral curriculum is collaborative. As I have mentioned earlier, it allows the student to collaborate among themselves. and it is learner-centered. Next, spiral curriculum is explorative. It allows the teachers and the students to explore in the community what are the materials they can use to facilitate learning. Next, yes, case it is commonly known as the K-12 curriculum and multidisciplinary in every grade level, and it is progressive. And for the division, I have mentioned that earlier. And for the expression towards transition, the teachers were able to provide two types of expression. They have optimistic and pessimistic expression. Okay? So maybe you are asking right now, has the teacher successfully transitioned from linear curriculum to spiral curriculum? The answer is yes and no. No, because number one, a successful transition, according to our respondents, it depends on the curriculum understanding of the teacher. If they fully understand what is linear curriculum and what is spiral curriculum, most probably those teachers were able to transition from linear curriculum to the spiral curriculum. And next is as to what is the level of their preparedness. Are they prepared in content, in technology, and in pedagogy? So with that, as a recommendation for science education, this research can be the depiction of the transition experiences of science teachers. Also, this research may prepare those education students, especially those with major in science, to prepare them what are the struggles, how to cope up with the transition period, as such, like that. Next is for the researchers. Other researchers may extend this research on the topic. They may also utilize quantitative research. They may conduct research as to how the level of content affect the readiness of teachers and the pedagogy and other topics mentioned in this research. Next is for the institution to improve current policies and guidelines, as well as for the curriculum makers to make an appropriate adjustment so that teachers and students were able to transition fully from the linear curriculum to the spiral curriculum. So that will be all for my presentation. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you so much, Ma'am Catherine. Thank you so much.